Now, earlier today, James Comey, FBI director, announced his recommendations that Hillary Clinton not be indicted for her extremely careless, in his words, handling of classified emails. Now, during that press conference, Comey had this to say about his recommendations.
In looking back at our investigations into the mishandling or removal of classified information, we cannot find a case that would support bringing criminal charges on these facts. All the cases prosecuted involved some combination of clearly intentional and willful mishandling of classified information or vast quantities of information exposed in such a way as to support an inference of intentional misconduct or indications of disloyalty to the United States or efforts to obstruct justice. We do not see those things here. To be clear, this is not to suggest that in similar circumstances, a person who engaged in this activity would face no consequences. To the contrary, those individuals are often subject to security or administrative sanctions, but that's not what we're deciding now.
That's not what we're deciding now. I mean, yes, we have evidence that she did something wrong, that she was very reckless and carelessly handled sensitive materials. But no, we're not deciding that now. Even though in similar cases, and did you notice that? Similar cases where something like this is done, we would at least take away their security clearance. Well, there's another case. There's actually a case that I want to talk about where they did exactly that. Now, this is from the FBI itself, and it tells the case of Bryan Nishimura, who basically was a Navy reservist deployed in Afghanistan who did a similar thing to Hillary Clinton. This is, as I said, from the FBI. In 2015, Folsom, Bryan H. Nishimura of Folsom pled guilty to unauthorized removal and retention of classified materials. Now, this is from the U.S. Magistrate Judge Kendall J. Newman. He sentenced Nishimura to 2 years of probation, a $7,500 fine, and forfeiture of personal media containing classified materials. Nishimura was further ordered to surrender any currently held security clearance and to never again seek such a clearance. Basically, you'll never get to work in the government again. That's what losing your security clearance means. That's why this would be so important if Hillary Clinton got indicted for this over the emails. She would lose her security clearance and therefore be ineligible for president. Now, according to court documents, Nishimura was a naval reservist deployed in Afghanistan in 2007 and 2008. In his role as a regional engineer for the U.S. military in Afghanistan, Nishimura had access to classified briefings and digital records that could only be retained and viewed on authorized government computers. Nishimura, however, caused the materials to be downloaded and stored on his personal, unclassified electronic devices and storage media. Not exactly a private server, but perhaps a computer or a cell phone. Now, if you can recall, Hillary Clinton didn't just access that email on her server, on her own computer, also on her BlackBerry device, which of course was not secure, was not proven to be secure. Now, they continue. He carried such classified materials on his unauthorized media when he traveled off base in Afghanistan. Once again, something Hillary Clinton also did when in other foreign countries. We got to access your work email, right? Well, that's exactly what she did on this unauthorized device. Let's see. And ultimately carried those materials back to the United States at the end of his deployment. In the United States, Nishimura continued to maintain the information on unclassified systems in unauthorized locations and copied the materials onto at least one additional unauthorized and unclassified system. Nishimura's actions came to light in early 2012 when he admitted to naval personnel that he had handled classified materials inappropriately. Nishimura later admitted that, following his statement to naval personnel, he destroyed a large quantity of classified materials he had maintained in his home. Despite that, when the Federal Bureau of Investigation searched Nishimura's home on May 2012, agents discovered numerous classified materials in digital and hard copy forms. The investigation and this is important, did not reveal evidence that Nishimura intended to distribute classified information to unauthorized personnel. There was no intent there. However, they went after him anyway, and they got him. Now, I thought intent was a factor in whether or not you would press charges against a government official for mishandling classified materials. Oh, right, as long as who you're going after isn't a Clinton. Now, others have done this, and look, if it were Romney, I would expect the same result. The powerful don't go after the powerful, and that's the problem here. We have a two-tiered justice system. And what people don't understand is that it's not Republicans versus Democrats. No, it's the powerful versus everyone else. And unfortunately, the media completely misses that point. Probably because they're powerful too, and they protect their own. This guy Nishimura, he was not powerful. Yes, he did something wrong, and he rightly got punished for it. Hillary Clinton, at the very least, showed terrible judgment and extreme carelessness with classified material. And what happens to her? She gets a slap on the wrist. A tisk by Comey. Oh, you probably shouldn't have done that. Look, his rhetoric on her was tough. But people have been going after Clinton for the last 30 years with far worse to say about her. So that's nothing. No. This is about someone in power breaking the rules and then getting away with it. And see, this is why people are angry with the establishment. This is what partly fuels Donald Trump, aside from the racism. Okay, the racists, ignore those. There are a lot of Trump supporters out there that are just legitimately angry at the system. Now, I don't agree with them, but they are angry at the system, and they're taking it out, I think, in the wrong target. There's this feeling of, but what I'm getting at is that there's this feeling of unfairness and inequity. You want to do something, right? You want to strike back at the system that's been crushing you for the last 30, 40 years. I understand. Now, I also understand that Trump's not the answer. He would take us in a very scary direction, the route towards fascism. And I don't want to go down that route. And I don't think most people do either. No, what you do is that you've got to change the system. You have to do whatever you have to do to change that system for the better. And what do I mean by that? You run for office, you challenge your politicians, you replace them if need be. But the important thing is that you have to stay involved. You have to stay involved in the system, get involved in the system, and stay there, or else nothing, and I mean nothing, is going to change. This is a long fight. This is a long process. And if you're not involved in it, then you're not helping.